Chapter 9. The Lord saved me from death. He stopped my tears and kept me from defeat. The Bible, Psalm 116.8. Rescued 4 times from the doorstep of death. I have faced a lot of challenging incidents in life and have escaped narrowly from the clutches of death, not once, not twice, but 4 times. The first 3 times it raised its head unexpectedly, but the 4th time I invited it myself. I saw the terrifying shadow of death from a close distance, but the Almighty and eternally kind God always protected me from it. Guinea saved my life. When I was in middle school, our family lived in Kalina, a suburb of Mumbai. I had adopted a female dog of Alsatian breed and named her Guinea. Soon she became my favorite. As she grew up, she became vigilant and aggressive, which are the main characteristics of a good watchdog. She followed me everywhere. At home, if a stranger visited, Guinea stared at them alertly. Though she was a German Shepherd, she never attacked or even barked at anyone. She always exercised her right to get pampered from me. At night, she slept at the foot of my bed. Kalina was an area full of dense vegetation 40 years ago. So naturally, it was an ideal shelter for snakes. The residents were used to watching snakes slithering on their way. Sometimes the snake would enter houses as well. People took precautions not to sleep on the floor at night. One night, I was fast asleep in my bed, and as usual, Guinea was lying near my feet. Near midnight, I was suddenly awoken by the sound of Guinea growling loudly. I moved to get down from the bed, but Guinea wouldn't allow me to do that. Consequently, she started barking even more loudly. She was staring at something in the dark. I sensed danger and switched on the light. When I checked under the bed, I was stunned. There was a long black snake lying coiled on the floor. With its head raised high and fangs peeking out from mouth, the creature was ready to bite its opponent any moment. Its forked tongue flickered. It was hissing. The whole scene was petrifying. Had I blindly put my foot on the floor, it would have surely bitten me in the dark. The serpent moved with blinding speed and started slithering up the bed, but Guinea lost no time. She jumped down with remarkable agility and attacked the snake. Animals like cats, dogs, or mongooses have a natural instinct to fight skillfully with snakes by scratching and biting. Guinea did the same. She started scratching the snake's tail with her sharp nails and simultaneously attempted to catch its head in her powerful jaw. She successfully bit the snake's head twice and severely wounded it. But unfortunately, the snake pricked its fang in her mouth. Guinea fought furiously and cut her enemy into pieces. Alas, she didn't survive. Since the snake was extremely venomous, Guinea died in a few moments on my lap. She sacrificed her life to save mine. Even today, I remember her. Whenever I visit Mumbai, I go to the place where she is buried and pay homage to her. The first road accident of my life. The year was 1996. I, along with my wife and 1-year-old son Rishikesh, had gone to attend the marriage ceremony of a relative. While returning, we were traveling on the Pune-Bangalore National Highway. It was a 2-lane road in those days without any dividers. I had purchased a brand new car only 6 months before, and our driver was also a young and enthusiastic person. Overall, our journey was going comfortably. We passed via Shirwal, a village between Satara and Pune. Suddenly, a truck coming from the opposite direction dashed against our car unexpectedly. The collision was so severe that both vehicles lost their control and spun into a nearby field. Our car caught fire due to excessive friction, and the doors got jammed and locked. Our heads bumped on the dashboard, and we 3 adults became unconscious on the spot. Since Rishikesh was in my wife's lap, he remained safe, but he got minor injuries and started crying loudly. A Marwari gentleman happened to be walking along the road. He noticed that a car had caught fire and a baby was crying inside. He immediately rushed to our car and found that the doors were locked. He lost no time and broke the windows with a stone. He rescued us from the smoke-filled car and admitted us to a nearby hospital. He even pulled out our luggage with great presence of mind. The good soul waited till we had regained consciousness. He then handed over our bags and left. Tears pooled in our eyes. Had he not rescued us in time, we would all have lost our lives. Besides, there was precious jewelry and valuable attire in our bags, which were packed by my wife to wear to the ceremony. The gentleman neither told us his name nor gave us the opportunity to thank him. He was like an angel sent by the Lord to rescue us. During the accident, my head had hit the dashboard, which caused an imbalance of cerebral fluid and further led to anxiety. I had to suffer from anxiety for 5 more years. Rescued from the inferno. In 1999, I had 5 warehouses in Dubai to store the commodities imported from India. Out of them, 4 were located in the same compound and the 5th was located nearby in another compound along with other traders' warehouses. I would visit frequently and sometimes play cricket with our workers during lunch hours. One day we had played as usual and I returned to my work. I sat in the office, which was a temporarily erected room. As I was inspecting the documents, an ear-splitting sound of a powerful explosion was suddenly heard from outside. After a few seconds, something heavy dashed along the walls of our warehouse. I ran out to see what had happened and was stuck to the spot. There had been a huge explosion in the adjacent compound and nearly 17 warehouses, including ours, had caught fire. In a few minutes, that fire turned into an inferno. The reason behind the explosion was that a neighbor had stored crackers in his warehouse and a little unexpected spark had caused the blast. The blast and the fire were so powerful that they had destroyed everything we had stored in our warehouses. Hundreds of bags full of grains and other commodities were burning and a cloud of smoke has engulfed the atmosphere. I had noticed that the fire was spreading and flames were coming in my direction. But the scene of devastation had made me so numb that I stood there motionless. My foot became heavy and I started begging God to rescue me. Just then, one of our workers named Ratan, a Bangladeshi, came running and pulled me out from there. He took me to a safe place away from the fire. Ratan, like an angel, rescued me from that inferno. I myself made my life a hell. In 1997, my second son Rohit was born. I was thoroughly enjoying life. I had everything to rejoice. Affectionate parents, a loving and caring wife, 2 adorable children, a well-established business and growing prestige. Destiny had showered prosperity on me. Still, I had the ambition to expand my business across UAE and beyond that. My ambitious young blood was provoking me to prove my mettle. My mind was challenging me. If not this time, then when to show your caliber? In an attempt to increase the sales volume rapidly, I focused entirely on the growth plan. I started opening more and more new stores. As expected, the sales volume increased, but I became a workaholic. Every day I would go to the office early in the morning and return home by late midnight. It became habitual for me to skip lunch or dinner. When the obsession for success and money reaches beyond limit, it creates greed. The same happened to me, and I madly began chasing money. I completely neglected the work-life balance. My disturbed lifestyle, late night sleeping, and irregular food habits ultimately resulted in severe acidity followed by back pain, headache, and finally, deep depression. I couldn't eat or sleep peacefully. Due to back pain, it became difficult for me to sit straight in a chair even for an hour. I tried allopathic, homeopathic, and herbal medications, aromatherapy, healing, and Reiki. I underwent 9 endoscopies, tried various therapies and medication, but to no avail. I was already suffering from anxiety. Now, depression was also added to it, and I started to fear death. I was convinced that death would catch me soon. I became panicky and restless. Every evening after returning home, I would cuddle my wife and children and weep. I began worrying about their future, thinking about what would happen to them if I died early. I was desperately searching for any remedy which would free me from the pain. In those days, I visited a number of temples, mosques, and churches and begged God to give me a second chance at life. I was ready to do anything to save myself from death. I took the advice of astrologists, tied talismans around my wrist, and performed various religious rituals at home. Once, when I was at the Krishna Mandir in Dubai, I saw a poor but stout man outside the temple eating lunch happily with his family. I realized then that the most precious treasure in life is not money, but health. I prayed to God to offer me a second chance for a good life. In those days, an incident took place which helped to regain my lost confidence. One day, my wife advised me to take a psychological consultation. At first, I turned a deaf ear to her suggestion. I was not accepting the fact that I had become a patient of some mental illness. But at the same time, no therapy or medications were yielding any results. So I decided to try it and visited an old counselor, a British lady in her 70s. When I explained my mental depression and fear of death, she exclaimed with surprise, "Young man, you have a loving family and successful life. Why do you fear death? You have some physical and mental health issues, but you can surely overcome them. Think positively and get back to work." She pulled her sleeve back and showed me the marks of many stitches on her arm. Then she told me, "Son, I am in my 70s now. A decade ago, I underwent multiple surgeries due to an accident, but I am living my life with a positive attitude. Follow me and forget the fear of death." Her words again awakened the confidence in me to live life with challenges. She suggested me to consult a psychiatrist and take medications. I listened to her advice and took treatment from a good psychiatrist, and what a surprise! The medication prescribed by him calmed my mind and I got cured from depression in 3 months. Then I turned my attention to my other ailments. I made the decision to regain my lost health. Perhaps the Almighty heard my prayer. After some days, when I was watching a TV show on acupuncture therapy, I decided to try it, and miraculously it worked. After a month of acupuncture sessions, my back pain vanished forever. My severe acidity was also brought under control by Ayurvedic medications prescribed by Dr. Nachiket Vachasundar from Karad. I got my health back. Since then, I have been diligently following an ideal lifestyle. I am quite convinced by the proverb, "Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." My day starts with yoga and ends with medication. I do regular exercise and have a simple but nutritious diet. I devote time to myself, my family, and business equally. After coming close to death 4 times, my fear about it has vanished now. I have decided to enjoy life actively and enthusiastically to its fullest. My humble appeal to you all is, please Never ever neglect your health and fitness in life.